What would you do if a billionaire handed you a black credit card with no limits? Buy a Rolex. Diamonds. A trip to Monaco? At the Hale estate, every servant did exactly that. Except one. Her name was Amara, and she was about to teach a ruthless billionaire that true wealth has nothing to do with money. They said Victor Hale could buy anything. Cars, jets, even people's silence. But he wanted to know one thing money had never truly given him: loyalty. One evening, Victor gathered his staff in the grand hall of his estate. The marble floors glistened under golden chandeliers. The butler, the chef, the chauffeur, the gardeners, and Amara, the quiet maid who often went unnoticed, all stood in a line, nervous but curious. Victor smirked, holding a sleek black card between his fingers. "This," he announced, "is my test. Each of you will take one unlimited credit card. Spend whatever you desire. No rules. No limits." Gasps filled the room. Eyes widened with disbelief. A Rolex. A new car. A luxury holiday. Anything was possible. The staff could hardly contain their excitement. For them, it was a dream. For Victor, it was an experiment, a way to peel away their masks and see who they truly were when temptation called. But standing at the very end of the line, Amara clutched her apron tightly. Her heart pounded, not with excitement, but with fear. She wasn't like the others. She had secrets Victor couldn't imagine. And when her turn came to take the card, her choice would shock him more than anything money could buy. The next morning, the mansion buzzed with excitement. The butler, Mr. Charles, returned first. His wrist glittered with a brand new Rolex, the gold catching every bit of sunlight. He bowed proudly before Victor. "A timepiece fit for a man of service, sir," he said, though the greed in his eyes betrayed him. Then came the chef Maria. She laid out a collection of diamond-encrusted knives on the table. "Now I can cook with the sharpest blades in the world," she beamed, forgetting that no diamond could season food with love. The chauffeur rolled in, his grin wide, holding 2 glossy plane tickets. "First class to Monaco, sir. For me. And a companion," he said with a wink. One by one, each servant flaunted their treasures. The hall became a gallery of greed, dripping with luxury and desire. Victor smirked, sipping his brandy. His experiment was working exactly as he expected. Then a silence. Amara stepped forward, her hands trembling. But unlike the others, she carried nothing. No bags, no jewelry, no tickets. Just the same tired uniform she always wore. Victor's brows furrowed. "And you?" he asked sharply. "What did you buy with your card?" Amara lowered her eyes, her voice barely above a whisper. "Nothing, sir." The room erupted in murmurs. "Nothing. Who refuses unlimited wealth?" Victor narrowed his gaze. "Explain yourself." Amara clutched her apron tighter. "My mother is ill. My brother's education is expensive. I thought of them, sir. But it didn't feel right. This isn't my money. It isn't earned. I cannot take what isn't mine." For the first time that evening, Victor's smirk faded. The billionaire who believed everyone had a price was staring at the one person who just proved him wrong. The room grew heavy with silence. Servants whispered, exchanging mocking glances. To them, Amara wasn't noble. She was foolish. But one man's stare cut deeper than the rest. Gregory, Victor's senior butler and most trusted aide, stepped forward. His voice was smooth, but laced with poison. "Sir," Gregory said with a sly bow, "with respect, perhaps the maid is simply pretending. Perhaps she fears using the card. But give her the right temptation, and she will fall like the rest of us." Victor leaned back in his chair, intrigued. "What do you propose, Gregory?" The butler's lips curled into a cold smile. "Test. Place something her heart truly desires within her reach. Then we will see if her loyalty is genuine or just fear." The servants chuckled, enjoying the spectacle. But Amara's face stiffened. Fear crawled through her chest. She had nothing to hide, yet Gregory's words cut deep, as if he already knew her secret. Victor swirled his glass of brandy, his sharp eyes fixed on Amara. For him, this was entertainment. For her, it was survival. Finally, Victor raised his hand. Very well. Let's see if the maid truly cannot be bought. The grand hall echoed with his decree. The staff smirked, whispering eagerly, waiting for her to fail. And Amara swallowed hard. Because Gregory was right about one thing. There was something her heart desired more than anything in the world. Her sick mother's medicine. Her brother's future. And Gregory knew it. That night, while the others celebrated their shopping sprees, Gregory's knock came at Amara's door. She froze, clutching the black card in her hand. "Come in," she whispered, though every bone in her body told her not to. Gregory stepped inside, his eyes glinting with something darker than amusement. He set a small envelope on her nightstand. "Open it." Her hands trembled as she unfolded the paper inside. It was a medical bill, her mother's name at the top, the cost enough to drown Amara in despair. Her lips parted. How do you?" Gregory smirked. "I make it my business to know everything, little maid. Your sick mother. Your brother's tuition. You play the humble saint, but the truth is, you're desperate. And desperate people always break." Amara clenched her fists, fighting back tears. "I will never use that card for myself." Gregory chuckled, low and cruel. "Then don't think of it as for yourself. Think of it as for them. Swipe once and all their problems disappear. No one will ever know." Amara's heart thundered. The card felt heavier in her pocket, like it was burning a hole through her very soul. Gregory leaned closer, his voice a venomous whisper. "Do it or watch the people you love suffer. Either way, you'll prove me right." Then he left, his laughter echoing down the servants' corridor. Amara sat alone in the dark, her tears soaking the medical bill in her hands. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Baby, you're too hard on yourself." Her brother's text, "I can defer if you need me to." She pressed the card to her chest, shaking. And in that moment, she realized the cruelest part of Victor's game. It wasn't about greed. It was about breaking her spirit. The next morning, the mansion buzzed with whispers. Gregory had spread the word. The maid will fall. Just wait. Victor sat in his grand study, the black card records glowing on his monitor. Every servant's greed was displayed like a confession. Except Amara's. Still untouched. Then, a new notification blinked. Her card had been used. Victor's eyes narrowed. He clicked the transaction. It wasn't jewelry. It wasn't vacations. It wasn't designer shoes. It was medicine, hospital bills, and tuition fees for a boy named Jerome. For the first time in years, Victor leaned back in silence, stunned. When Amara entered his study hours later, her shoulders were straight, though her eyes carried the weight of shame. She placed the black card on his desk. "I used it," she admitted softly. "Not for myself, but for my family. If that means I've failed your test, then so be it." The room was still. Even Gregory, standing smugly in the corner, smirked as if victory was his. But then Victor did something no one expected. He laughed. Not cruelly, not coldly, but a laugh that sounded almost human. He stood, walked around the desk, and placed the card back into Amara's trembling hand. "You think you failed? No, Miss Amara. You passed. Better than anyone else." Her breath caught. "I don't understand." Victor's eyes softened, though his voice carried its usual steel. "Every person I've tested exposed their greed. But you, when pushed to the edge, you revealed your heart. Real wealth is not about what we keep, but about what we give." Gregory's smirk collapsed into silence. Victor turned to him, voice sharp again. "Take your Rolex. Take your arrogance. You'll leave this house today. You failed. Gregory, you all failed." Gasps echoed in the hall as servants were dismissed one by one. But Amara, she stood frozen. Victor's voice gentled once more. "Stay. Not as a servant, but as someone I can finally trust. The first person in years to remind me that even a billionaire can still be poor If he forgets the value of love. Amara's eyes brimmed with tears. She nodded slowly, clutching the card that had once felt like a curse, but had instead revealed her true strength. And for Victor Hale, the man who once believed money could measure the soul, that day, the quiet maid taught him that real wealth had nothing to do with money at all. Asterisk.